a couple minutes, we've got Millennia Atlantic and Western Washington. Your center referee will be Jenny Liu. ARs are Joshua Musalera and Olga Didizi.
Oh, shit. Huh? It's to the group chat.
Welcome to Kuntz Field here in beautiful Indianapolis, Indiana for this College Rugby Association of America D1AA semifinal match between Western Washington University, the Vikings, and Millennia Atlantic University Macaws. I'm Phil Teal. I'll be doing your play-by-play today. I'm joined by Jeremy Ognall, who'll be bringing you your analysis. Exciting matchup today, Jeremy. We've got two distinctive styles as we get ready for this one. Of course, we've got Western Washington coming all the way from Bellingham, Washington. Millennia Atlantic coming from Miami, Florida, the furthest you could possibly get away from each other here in Indianapolis, ready to bash heads.
Yeah, what an opportunity it is, Phil, for both these teams. Really excited. I'm expecting a barn burner of a match. We saw a great match earlier which Iowa State won. Expecting a similar sort of match here. I think we're going to have the physicality of Western Washington, probably against the skill and ability to move the ball of Millennia, but I can't wait for 80 minutes with you, Phil.
You know, you speak about the skill of Millennia. I haven't seen Western Washington in person play, but I was lucky enough to broadcast a game where they played against Life University in Marietta. Millennia was absolutely physical as well, but they were physical in the small sense of the game. The breakdown, the ability to get over the ball quickly, and then those quick offloads that they worked. There's a lot of South American flair on this team coming up against, like you said, the physicality of Western Washington.
Yeah, South American flair will be front and center for these guys. Excited to watch that. Having said that, Western Washington, well-rounded group, very good in the set piece, know how to move the ball, very physical at the breakdown. They've got a real pedigree, well coached, and again, as I said a minute ago, I cannot wait for this kickoff in a few seconds.
And as you mentioned, the coaching staff for Millennia Atlantic, we have Yalid Ganem as the head coach, Ivan Mihivilovich as the assistant coach, and then Adam Roberts heading up the Western Washington program. He's assisted by Alan Law, Trip Murato, and Paul Holm. Referees for today's match, head referee, we have Jenny Liu, assistant referees Joshua Musanera and Olga Niabitsi. As we prep here, up here in the booth, we've got Millennia Atlantic playing from left to right against the larger blue stripes. There was some questions before the game about the jersey similarities. Western Washington playing from right to left. Great kickoff here, right in front of the 22 there from number 10 Bruno Tavanti, taken in the air by Western Washington. Quickly though, not releasing in that very first tackle breakdown here. Quickly asserting herself into the game is referee Liu. Excuse me, there's no wrap in the tackle there on that catch, and Western Washington goes straight to the boot here. Penalty kick down just inside of the Millennia Atlantic 10. Early attacking opportunity here from the fringes of that green zone for Western Washington.
Yeah, absolutely, being able to turn the field around there after it looked like a bit of a high tackle, I believe. Clear their lines 40 meters, now they're just inside of the attacking 10 with a good platform.
Western Washington here, Gus Sorensen with the throw into this line out. Shorter line out here, though, knocked away by Millennia. Taken back here, Millennia stepping back inside, tackled well by Western Washington. A bit of a scramble there. Millennia here coming away with the ball, playing back into their forwards here, just outside their own 22. Smashed backwards, though, by the Western Washington defense. Well done there, leading the charge. Ball played away back inside the 22 now, and again tackled backwards. Western Washington flying up on defense here, forcing Millennia back inside their own 22. Kick to come here. That's a kick from the boot to Tavanti, straight down just to the right side of the field here, inside the 15. That's taken there by number 23 from Western Washington. Have to get a number on there. Looks like that might be Sam Schuver in the 23 jersey, or Ned O'Brien, number 15, may have changed that jersey. We'll get that cleared up so the fans at home can get the right names. We're moving the ball here quickly. Western Washington just to the outside, offload again. Some hot steppers here on the Western Washington side. As you mentioned, that physicality, quick to the breakdown here. Western Washington playing within the Millennia half. Playing back inside here through their forwards is Western Washington. The Vikings trying to find a bit of space. Millennia flying up, blitz defense here, inspired by Rugby League, of course. Very prevalent in the last few years. You'll see that from the Millennia squad. Still, though, the Vikings playing their way back inside. Back to midfield. That's number 8 right there. We've got Harry Moore on that carry. Moving the ball sideline to sideline right now, Jeremy. What do we see here from Western Washington as they get smashed backwards in the tackle? Dueling defenses here so far in the first couple minutes.
Absolutely dueling. I'd say I like the shape that Western is attacking
from.
As
we have a charge down here. That's a Millennia charge down. We'll get a number on that. Looks like it may have been number 10. That's Tavanti there. Playing back in as Millennia trying to force this turn over here. Western Washington scrambling back. Number 9, Gabe Galvez here, plays the ball away into his forward pack to try to set an exit here as they play well under pressure here. Galvez sets, passes back here, and that's Janko Jonker kicking away straight into the waiting arms of Muncie. Muncie passes that one back into Gonzalez Casala, who puts the boot up just over the top here. This one's going to drift directly into touch, and it's going to be a Western Washington line out. 3 minutes in, Jeremy, and I'm nearly out of breath from this back and forth play.
Yeah, well, I was just about to say, you'd mentioned they were a bit side to side, Western Washington. They got into their shape well, but they had no penetration. It was very flat, it was very static, and that resulted in the charge down, putting themselves back under pressure. Luckily, with a mistake there by Millennia, they now can hopefully clear the lines from this lineout.
It'll be a lineout throw in here again from Sorensen. A lot of movement here. Ball does eventually come in. Big drive here in this maul straight from Western Washington. Number 5, Lyndon Bailey. Saw him go up there, the beautiful mullet high into the sky to take that ball down. Ball played away here by Western Washington. The Vikings moving across field here, looking to attack with some width and a bit of a bending attack here. Well done though. Ball straight into the hands of number 14, Tavoy Filiva. Tackled well just inside the 10-meter line. And again, the Vikings charging at the line here. One-off carriers finding rounded corners here, getting around that third defender, playing back and forth across the field here. We're back nearly into the 5-meter channel. Chance here for Western Washington to set up a 2-layer tag, and it is a penalty here against Millennia. Not rolling away there. Exciting stuff there, as you mentioned, Jeremy, from Western Washington, playing side to side, really moving the ball cleanly around the field here.
Yeah, in that sequence, they moved the ball really well, cleanly side to side, but they were actually penetrating as well. Last time they were a little static, a little flat-footed. This time they really got some edge. There was a bit of a dogleg defense there by Millennia, a bit of a mistake. They were lagging in defense, and Western Washington took advantage. Then not rolling away in the tackle, and now we have a penalty. Great platform, Phil. You'd love this in your day. Inside the 22, what do you do here?
Time for a maul. Ball does come in from Sorensen, back up into the hands of Bailey again. They do set the maul here, Western Washington, trying to get this going forward. Well defended, though, by Millennia from the start here. Bodies are in low, taken off the right side here, though. That looks like that was Galvez that took that one off the side. Try to find a little bit of space. It may have all come for naught, though, as Millennia creating some chaos. It is going to be a penalty, though, that chaos. Hands in. Galvez again playing this ball quickly. Excuse me, that wasn't Galvez. Galvez now playing the ball away. Coming in, we've got number 3, Kellen Lefebvre in there. And Western Washington working their way now nearly into the 5-meter channel here for the Vikings. Millennia scrambling around the corner here, trying to find their positioning defensively. Big Lyndon Bailey there carrying that ball in. And again, played away by Galvez. This one moving out into the width, into the hands of Liam Herring. The Vikings tackled here. Recycling the ball, though, moving side to side, trying to find some space, trying to get those deep runners coming in. Western Washington this time tackled backwards. Millennia doing well there in that BC channel, driving the Western Washington attackers back into their breakdown. And again, we've got Bailey, very formative here in these early carries, just trying to get back into that 5-meter, moving the ball now wide through the hands of Janko Jonker. Into contact again. Now Millennia doing a great job here, staying organized in defense, not giving away penalties, being patient on defense. Western Washington as well, being patient in attack here, a little bit flat. This one goes through the hands of Lefebvre. Again, Galvez marshaling his troops around the corner. Good latch on carry there between 2 forwards from Western Washington. Big clear out in the breakdown and a penalty again. Just as I was giving credit to Millennia there for their patience in defense, they give away a penalty.
Yeah, penalty again. I believe that's their 3rd or 4th. It looks like we're having a little conversation now between the captain and the referee. You know, in this area of the pitch, Phil, as you know, you can't give back-to-back penalties just like they have. So I'm sure it's a stern warning. Next one's probably a yellow card. And it's the penetration that Western Washington is being so disruptive to the Millennia defense that's causing them to stray offside and to not roll away effectively. So Western Washington has a great platform here. Looks as though they're coming to the far left side of the field, probably trying to define a strike play to put one in.
Indeed. I believe we have dueling number 8s as captains today. Harry Moore from Western Washington and Annabelle Gabriel Lambolia. Here Western Washington decides to take point. Smart move here early on in the game. Get that scoreboard ticking over. Take advantage of the penalty opportunities when you have them.
Yeah, absolutely. They earned the opportunity. They've been down there for a couple of minutes. They weren't really able to dent them as effectively as they'd like, but they take advantage of the penalties. And it looks like number 12 here, George Pritchard, is going to put the ball on the tee. Should be a fairly straightforward 3-pointer here, about 7 minutes into the game, and a really, really positive start for Western Washington, playing down this end of the pitch considerably.
And Pritchard, a sophomore, electrical computer engineering from White Rock, British Columbia. Played his rugby at Bayside RFC, and indeed Pritchard does knock that one over from straight in front. Pretty easy one to start with there. Get the boots warmed up, and about 7.5 minutes into this one, now Western Washington takes the early advantage 3-0 from some, I want to call it tenacious attack.
Yeah, definitely a confidence builder of a kick, fairly straightforward. He should have made it, and he did. And absolutely, they'll have their backs high because it's been a positive start. They've played down their end, and they'll want to continue playing down the left end of the field here to keep the pressure on Millennia's defense.
Devontae here with a shorter kick. This one drifting near the touchline. Indeed, it does drift into touch on the full. Assistant referee Niabitsi indicates that we'll be coming back to midfield. Head referee Lude discussing with the Western Washington forwards. It will be a midfield scrum, one of the most dangerous attacking platforms you can get on the field, the post kick on the full center field scrum. Let's see what Western Washington does with this opportunity. Look like they're loading up the left side of the field here. We do, I believe, have fullback Ned O'Brien there sitting in the middle, deciding where he's going to attack. See where he heads. That will be the fulcrum of this attack. And let's see if they go with a little bit of a run kick option here. One defender back for Millennia. That's fullback Gonzalez Casola. But forced to defend between the 15s right now is Millennia. A lot of opportunity here from this midfield scrum.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Phil, what a great strike opportunity. Looks as though Yonkers prepared to get the ball, but as you said, they've got their fullback in great position. Ned O'Brien, you know, he's dictating some terms out there. Obviously, solid scrum, good strike here, and then they'll really have a good attacking platform to really try and dent this Millennia defense.
Good defensive scrum there from Millennia. Great platform here for Western Washington. Ball does come back. That's into the hands of Liam Herring as he moves that thing wide. That's off to Tavoli Filiva, who's going to slice through the Millennia defense. And Filiva over the line, down between the posts. And pardon me, that was Eli Ashman, number 11, working his way to the right side of the field. Saw the right winger there flying over, assumed it was Filiva, but that was Eli Ashman. Fantastic play there off the side of that scrum. That was number 8 Moore. And we had Liam Herring flying in there. Great short ball into the hands of Ashman. Darts in, one step outside, inside, cuts through the defense between the posts. 5 points.
Yeah, beautiful. Very individual effort. But again, clean off the scrum, 8-man pick, as you said, just move the ball to the edge. Then it was just athleticism, step inside. And it's understandable, Phil, you had the names wrong there because Ashman is listed as the left wing, but he's actually playing on the right. So we've got Filiva on the left wing with the scrum cap on, and we've got Ashman on the right, just go forward. But what a phenomenal start for Western Washington.
And Pritchard here going for his second chip shot of the day. Over it goes, and an early 10-0 lead for the Western Washington Vikings. Some very clean play from them. We haven't seen Millennia get really the opportunity to attack much yet, but we have seen now some nice set-piece work from Western Washington, some controlled aggression in the breakdowns, as well as some clean passing off both the right and left hand, which, as we know in college rugby, has come a long way. But these are still young guys, so to see that skill from left to right is very impressive.
No, really impressive. We talk about it all the time about being brilliant in the basics. You know, pass catch is a fundamental. If you do it well, then you can do a lot of damage, and that's what they're doing. Great take there from the kickoff, Phil.
Yeah, Tavante with that ball high in the air there. Didn't get the number on the receiver, however, the ball does come in behind. That's to Yanko. Yanker puts a high one in. That's going to land nearly inside the 5-meter channel, 15-meter inside the 22, taken back there by Gonzalez Casola, who's going to send a spiral kick back down the middle of the field here. A bit of an aimless kick, however, that's going to be picked up. That's Henry Moore there, bringing that one back into Yonker. Yonker back into the ever-ready hands of Lyndon Bailey. The lock has been through a ton of work here in the first 12 minutes of this one. Western Washington sets, and another penalty here against Millennia on the ground, not rolling away.
Yeah, these penalties, Phil, are going to really come back to bite Millennia if it keeps going this way. That's 4 or 5 against them right now. So far, clean sheet for Western Washington, no penalties, a lot of good go-forward ball. Now they have a chance with Pritchard putting the ball to touch here on the left sideline, and another opportunity for a strike play off a line-out. So Western Washington's got to be feeling good, and Millennia's got to be figuring out how they find their feet a little bit more.
Yeah, you see it early in a game. One team here, as we see Yonker put this one down inside the 22. One team sometimes scrambling a bit, maybe a bit more of their style of play. They're a bit more of an aggressive offloading style. They're scrappy on the ground. We still have to find where that referee's whistle limit is and play to that.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the referee there. It looks like she's doing a great job so far. Millennia's getting on the wrong side of her, but it's because they're on the defense the whole time. Great go-forward ball for Western Washington.
Sorensen in again to Bailey here. Bailey does well. This one comes down from all. This one just drifted away here off the side of there to Seamus Toohey. Well done by Western Washington, playing back in through their forwards. And it's Toohey breaking through with the big swan dive. A bit of a Chris Ashton, England, early turn of the century-esque there. And it is indeed Seamus Toohey does well there to break through 3 Millennia tackles and another try under the post here. 13 minutes in, Western Washington running rampant over top of Millennia.
Rampant indeed, but as you said, it was a combination there. Good strong carry by Western Washington, but also pretty soft shoulders there by Millennia. They'll be disappointed. They've looked a little fragile on the defensive side of the ball the last couple of phases, and Western Washington are a team that you don't want to be fragile with, as they're showing now. 15 with the kick to come, and we're only 14 minutes into the match, Phil.
Oh, we've seen it here early on. You saw Bailey just a bit ago, more with a couple of carries as well, the number 8, and now Toohey driving those knees, and that's really what it's taking right now, finding some of those soft shoulders, as you mentioned, and just working their way through the tackles. Not a lot of big contact coming in from the other side.
And then the conversion there is good, Phil, so now it puts them up by 17 points to nothing with 14 minutes left, so still a long way to go, but also a lot of opportunity, Phil, for Millennia to get back into this match.
Yeah, if they could get their hands on the ball, like I said, I had the opportunity to see them play earlier in the year, and Millennia definitely can build their attack. They really did well in the second half when I had the opportunity to see them, so we'll see if they can't get back into this one. And as we talk about Lyndon Bailey as a strong player so far, apparently Lyndon has had 3 Player of the Week nods from the Collegiate Rugby Association of America, and so he's definitely been a force for this Western Washington team, so no surprise that he's been very prevalent early on in the game.
Yeah, great facts there, Phil. Well done. The referee just had a little talk to the captains. I'm not sure what she's saying to Western Washington, but she's definitely telling Millennia to get on the right side of her, or it could be a long day for them.
Maybe saying, hey guys, take it easy out here. You guys are really, they've come to play. Western Washington again. Ball taken here, big shot coming in from Millennia, but that's going to be a no arms shoulder charge tackle. It did look a bit high too, so referee Lou here having a discussion with her assistant referee. Let's see what comes out of this. I would potentially suspect a card may come out here.
Phil, I think with the way that hit was delivered, I don't think it has to be a question of a card. That has to be a yellow, though. He went in shoulder high, no arms, to a defenseless receiver, and I think that's the only choice the referee has to make. And Millennia has got to stop the referee forcing a hand to make these decisions against them. Cleanliness is going to be key for them.
You know, in my playing days, I always wanted to blame the referee when it was really my fault. You get a little bit more perspective when you're up here in the booth, and you can see sometimes it's a pretty clear foul. You see a player that's trying to be aggressive. They're trying to turn the game around for their team. They're trying to do it in one big tackle, and then they end up on the wrong side of the referee.
Yeah, Phil, from your playing days, I don't remember any plays like that by you, but maybe that's because I'm older and I have a very bad memory. But definitely the conversation's happening here. It looks as though she's going to go to the pocket here. And yes, she's gone to the
yellow. And it's big number 4, Noel Ricardez, the junior for Millennia. Big unit coming off the field. Again, unfortunate for him. We have to stay on the right side of the law there. Ricardez just charging in with no arms, shoulder high there, and that's going to be a yellow card. He's lucky that the Western Washington, we didn't get the number on the Western Washington player, hadn't ducked into that contact a bit more, because it could have been to the head there.
No, it could have been to the head. I think he is lucky. It's definitely a yellow. I'm sure the disciplinary team are looking at that, but definitely the right play by the referee there, and now an advantage for 10 minutes for Western Washington.
And something they definitely don't need right now, as Bailey brings that one down again. We've got a strong carry coming through here. I believe that's Seamus Toohey again. I'll get the number on that one as he comes around. Ball into the hands of Yonker. Yonker, educated boot here, back inside the 15 and 22 again. Tipped backwards here by number 15, Gonzalez Casola, as he tries to rescue this one. And Western Washington charging down like a pack of wolves onto this ball. 4 Western Washington players flying down the field here. Millennia is able to bring this one back, though, inside their own 5-meter line, trying to exit here, trying to escape, really. This isn't even exit territory. We're trying to get out of here alive for Millennia here, not give away more points. You can see Western Washington set back with 3 players here back deep. Excellent position here to counterattack. This is going to be a tough opportunity here for Millennia, as they do go straight into touch off the boot of Gratado, just inside the 22. Another attacking opportunity for the Vikings.
Yeah, another great opportunity. They were hunting like a pack there, put all the pressure on, pinned them to their try line, and now they've still got the ball inside the 22 with another opportunity to put one in. So again, their backs are up, they're feeling good about themselves, they've just got to continue to execute and focus on the fundamentals.
We've got what looks to be a maul set up here in this lineup. Ball does indeed come into Bailey again. I don't know if there's any other option in the lineup right now. There doesn't need to be, as Western Washington sets the maul. Good body height here as they're charging forward. This one's going to collapse. It's definitely an advantage coming out from referee Lou. Western Washington will play away here through the hands of Yonker again. This one going out the back door. That's number 13, Liam Herring, pitching that one nearby. Western Washington players flying over top of this one as Millennia tries to get their hands on it to slow it down again. We've got Galvez back out into the hands of Yonker. Again, that combination working well. Ball does hit the deck for a second. We're working our way back in here as Western Washington on that right side, setting up their full field attack here. Right to left, excuse me, if you're watching this game here. Number 3, Kellen Lefebvre, trying to get those feet working forward, driving those knees just outside the 22. Looks like we've lost advantage here. Referee coming back for the collapsed maul. And another powerful attacking opportunity for Western Washington.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, they moved the ball well, very physical. Didn't get a lot of territory there, but obviously no advantage gain, so it comes back to the collapse maul, as you said. And once again, the referee has to be looking at the Millennia players and saying, you know, how many more infractions are you going to force me to call before I have to pull another card out? They're already down their big man. They can't afford to go down again. And as a result, the scrum's been taken by Western Washington, knowing that they have one man up in the pack.
Smart play here from the Vikings. Take that scrum, see if we can't earn another penalty, continue to get that referee's whistle blowing. At this point, I've been on both sides of this, where the referee's blowing their whistle for you or their whistle against you. And the referee doesn't have to stop with one cynical yellow card penalty. She can continue to put her hand in the pocket. Western Washington can really do damage if they can keep Millennia down in this corner and get a penalty out of this scrum.
Yeah, she's obviously not afraid to make the decision. She's already gone to the pocket. And as you said, Phil, I would think that, especially the position you played, this front row are probably licking their lips and thinking, you know, well, let's win the scrum, but maybe even get a dominant scrum and maybe even get another card pulled. So let's see what happens here.
Been on the side of that. I've been a person that has been taken off the field for repeated scrum infringements, as well as on the other side of it, watching another front row player go off the field. And you're right, you are licking your chops at this point in the front row, especially with the dominance that Western Washington has showed through this first quarter of the match, really trying to just hedge their advantage more and more and more. These are aggressive players, and it shows.
Yeah, it looks like an early engage there by Western Washington. So a bit of relief here for Millennia. They can clear their lines. It's only a free kick, but they're inside their 22, so put it to touch and breathe for a second.
Just a bit too much chomping at the bit there for the Vikings front row in tight 5. Kick here to come for Millennia. One of their first opportunities to get their own set piece off the line out here. This one slicing into touch just outside their own 10-meter line. Decision ball here, down 17, first quarter of the match. Do we want to play to hand? This is really their first opportunity if they can win this line out to get, oh, excuse me, it was a free kick, so it'll be Western Washington, pardon me. It's free kick for the early engage. So it's Western Washington now back on the defense, goes Millennia.
Yeah, it looks like Western Washington probably going to Bailey again, don't you think, on what we've seen so far?
I would
they
imagine.
do.
and when Millennia even read it and couldn't get to it, he's just that good in the air right now. That's off to Yonker, back into the hands of George Pritchard, who's put that one back wide again. And that's Ashman again on that left side, kicking this one down through. He is going to overcook this just a bit. Wanted some over easy eggs there, got some well done. That yoke is hard. Ball is out the back of the end goal area, coming back here for Millennia.
Yeah, the yoke is too hard, and to be honest with you, we saw him run a few minutes ago. I don't know why he puts ball to foot to ball. You know, keep it in your hand, play. You've got great support. You've had good go forward ball. Don't give up a possession. It was an unlucky bounce, you know, through the try zone, but keep ball in hand. They've shown with ball in hand they're extremely dangerous.
Especially him with that early try. There was so much, as you mentioned, individual effort on that. Great right-footed step back inside. I'm going to tell you this. If I was as fast as him, I never would have passed the ball. I barely passed it anyway, but I definitely would not have passed it if I had his kind of speed. You saw him put down that accelerator earlier on, and even there, he had the Millennia defense scrambling even before he put boot to that.
Yeah, the defense is definitely scrambling. Again, they're a bit of a dog-leg defense. Western Washington's definitely finding the edge pretty easily, so we've got to watch that through the match.
Big scrum coming in here from Western Washington. Well done there. That was Galvez coming back around there, but it is going to be a penalty. Quick tap here coming in from Millennia. However, referee Lou deciding that that was not taken in front of her mark. Ball will come back. Would love to see the indication from referee Lou on what that penalty was.
I believe, Phil, they called offside on the 9. I think he came too soon from the scrum, so that's what the penalty was for.
As I was singing his praises, he was getting there a little bit too early. It was a great defensive effort, though, very aggressive. As we've seen from Western Washington, very aggressive around the corner defensively. When they've had their opportunities, they're very scrappy defense. We've mostly seen them in attack, but they have done well so far when they've had the opportunity to defend.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the first penalty against them in 21 minutes, and they haven't had to play much defense. It looks like they've taken this one as well.
And Bailey there just says, that's my line out still. I don't care if it's yours. Great offload there into the hands of Ishmael. And this is Western Washington working their way back through. That's the prop there, Lefebvre in the scrum cap, driving through the Millennia defense. And again, inside the 22 right away, into the hands of Jonker. That's well done there. Western Washington charging through, barreling into the contact. Go the Vikings. Jonker out wide. This time it is indeed number 14, Filiva'a, as he flies around the corner, dives in for the try. Excellent pass there coming in from Jonker. Quick ball came out from Galvez. Jonker with the nice flat pass there. And Filiva'a, the recipient of a pretty easy try, just had to put the foot down and get over the line.
Yeah, easy finish, but well worked. And if you look at it, I was going to say, Phil, and again, you recognize this from your career, you can tell that Western Washington's spending a lot of time in the gym. There's some strong shoulders there. Their carries are really disrupting the defense of Millennia and bouncing off a lot of tacklers to get good go-forward ball. And then the backs are just able to move it to the edge cleanly for another score.
Well, you saw it there. It was first Ishmael, then Lefebvre, and then they came back through into the centers. Then the quick ball from Jonker. And once you're on defense and you're scrambling like that, you have to make that decision. Am I flying up and trying to take away the ball carrier, the pass, or am I going to drift? Near the line there, you're always going to fly up. Jonker reads it, ball into Filiva'a. Great work by him to stay deep enough, but also be able to put the foot on the accelerator and finish.
Yeah, great summary there, Phil. Described it perfectly. And now we've got Pritchard up here with another 2 on his toe.
Pritchard perfect so far today. This is probably his toughest kick, just inside that 15 meter and 22. Well done there by Pritchard, and he is perfect so far today as he's kept this Western Washington attack rolling. Scoreboard ticking over, and as we get close to the 15 minutes left here, 24-0 so far Western Washington. Millennia right now. Are the alarm bells going off? Not so much based on the score, anything can happen, but how the scores have occurred.
Yeah, I think that's more something to be concerned about. You know, 24-0 is recoverable. The reality is Millennia just haven't had go-forward ball. They haven't played down the end they are right now, but they don't have possession. But they've been in their half pretty much the whole time, and Western Washington has exposed them in several areas. So I would say there's some alarm bells. They're not giving up, clearly. They're still very physical and committed, but they are definitely in trouble.
As we saw there, wanted to give quick credit to Tui there on that great take on the kickoff. Ball went through the hands of Lefebvre there, and now Western Washington working their way back through the hooker Sorensen, back in here deep. That's number 12, Pritchard, kicking this one just a bit too much on that. He's been flawless so far, kicking for points. This time just slides that one into touch, and it's going to be a Millennia attack on the 10-meter line.
Yeah, obviously a mistake with the foot there, but the fact is they set it up perfectly. The execution on the kick wasn't great, and that's pinned them a little bit deep, but their execution to set that up was phenomenal. And again, I think that's another alarm bell for Millennia.
Ball comes in here. We've got Alvin Gratido. Ball. Oh, this is hard charging. Big run coming in from number 13, Marcos Menendez-Torres, as he flies through into the 22 here, bashing his way forward. Quickly taken away again by Gratido. Big tackle coming in here. I believe that's number 8 there, Lambolia, carrying that ball into contact as Millennia here tries to set their attack just outside the 22. Carries coming in again, running hard straight lines now on Millennia, and they earn themselves a penalty. Looks like they may take a quick tap here. Gratido there, threatened for the tap, decides to hold off here. Well done there by Millennia to find their way into some of their attack, and that's what we were talking about earlier. 24-0 doesn't mean anything when you can chew up meters the way they just did.
Yeah, they were chewing up meters, eating them very easily. That was the first time they've really had some go forward, off first phase ball. Beautiful hard run there through the centers. Dented Western Washington for the first time, and now they've got a great attacking platform about 8 meters from Western Washington's line. What I would say to you, though, Phil, is they definitely don't want to be throwing in the area of Lyndon Bailey because he has been swallowing up everything like Pac-Man.
Well, hopefully for Millennia here, as they won't get gobbled up here as like a ghost, as Bailey staying down. No, indeed he does come up, and indeed he does. We're just
all over the place here, and he has the ball still over top of the 22. Incredible work from Bailey here. He has been a man possessed so far in this game. And as you mentioned, no, he's Pac-Man right now. He's gobbling up everything in the lineup. He's gobbling up everything in the carries. He currently is one of the most dominant players on the field. Do have a penalty here for Millennia, though, however, illegal. Looks like we've got holding on in the breakdown there from Western Washington. Bailey doing everything there except getting that ball away. You know, not a great clear out there from Western Washington. And those situations where you've got a guy that's gotten away from you a bit there, that does happen sometimes.
Yeah, no, great steal there. Unfortunately, the turnover, and now back-to-back penalties puts them deep. You know, they're under a bit of pressure, and that's where penalties come. Now
This
actually
time,
Millennia takes it.
Well done there, Golly, in the ball in here, and a maul here set up by Millennia. Looks like they're in pretty good body position moving forward here. Ball in the hands of Tomas Golly here at the back of this maul, just working their way forward. Referee telling the Western Washington players not to come in from the side there. Very good patience here. Ball does come into the hands of Gratido. He moves that one through, just tackled short of the line. There is Millennia just inside the 5 meters here, working their way through. Big tackles coming in from that Western Washington defense. However, ball does move quickly away, and that's going to be a try. Oh, excuse me, no, just short of the line there. Scramble defense by Western Washington, and this time over the line goes Millennia for the try. And this looks like it may have been that. Looks like that's number 4 there, Noel Ricardes, who had come back on after the yellow card, making up for the 10 minutes in the bin as he darts over top the line, powers his way through. Some excellent Millennia attack there, finished off by Ricardes.
Yeah, he's paying his team back for 10 minutes in the sin bin. And again, well worked. They won the line out, which is really the first one they've won cleanly. Had some really good, strong carries. And, you know, from 5 meters, as you know, you can only play defense for so long, especially against those big, structured ball carriers. And the pressure told, and now they've got 7 points up.
Well done by Gratido there to put the extras on. And as you mentioned, 24-7 now, right back into this one. 12 minutes left in the first half. Excellent work there by Millennia, not only to just score a try, which is always difficult against in the game. However, to come back from the pressure that they've been under, from the dominance that Western Washington showed, keep their heads up and keep fighting, and then earn that try.
Yeah, we just talked about alarm bells a few minutes ago, and you know they're still very aware of what Western Washington can do, but they silenced the bells a little bit there with that play. But again, what it came down to is they needed possession. They held on to the ball, and the result was 7 points.
Pritchard kicks this one high into the air. That goes over the head of Quevedo Mendoza. This one is going to be taken, though, recovered by Muncie here as Millennia work their way from just outside their own 22, looking for some exit strategy here. Well carried there and cleared out where the forwards. Ball is going to move just sideways here inside the 22. Reset here for a potential exit is Millennia. Again, looks like they may be going back into the hands of the forwards here. This time it's number 8, Lambolia, carrying the ball back up near the 22 again here. Playing with a bit of fire is Millennia. However, they do move that ball back into the boot of Tavanti. It goes. This one, though, taken back there by Moore. Moore playing his way back upfield, moves that ball out again to Ashman. A couple of hop steps there, a little bit of Super Mario action, eventually carried and taken down inside the 5 meter channel, just around halfway there. Western Washington scrambling to recover this one. Back infield. That looks like that was back into the hands of Moore again. Carried back in Western Washington. One-off runners here, just trying to find their way through, trying to find some creases outside that third defender. Working their way through. This time it's Sorensen on the carry, finding just a couple meters. Ball is ripped away, though. Referee indicates that it is going to be a penalty here, though, for Millennia, holding on in the breakdown. Ball was stripped, recovered, but then Millennia does a great job there, getting over top of that in numbers, getting their hands on there, creating that penalty.
Yeah, momentum's going a long way towards Millennia right now. That was great turnover, the breakdown. We got a lucky kick there to touch, but once again, they have an attacking line out just inside of the Vikings 22. And the game has turned a little bit the last 2 or 3 minutes, Phil.
It's turned on its head so quickly. Western Washington so dominant there for the first 25 minutes or so of this game. They've turned it around now, has Millennia. Really found a foothold into this one. And let's see if they can execute this line out here and get back inside. Again, this one tapped away. However, Millennia does recover here back. It does go backwards. They're back inside near the 10 meter line here. They lost a bit of ground there, but back on the attack, finding their footing here. We've got number 7 there, Tiago Orden with the carry into the contact here. Western Washington well structured in defense, pulling up some defenders here into those first 3 and 4 defensive channels. Ball played away there through the hands of Gali, the hooker. Still on his feet, working his way through, bumping around. Go the Millennia players. That was back into the hands there of Peroni. And this one's stolen away here. However, it's another penalty here, not releasing on the ground defensively. That one may have been stripped after the knee hit there.
Yeah, I mean, 20 minutes in, we said that Western Washington hadn't committed a penalty. I think they're on the receiving end of about 5 in a row right now, which is why they're playing down their end. Now, again, facing a defensive lineout very close to their goal line.
And as you mentioned, it's that run of penalties, right? They've been on the defense now. They were enjoying so much possession, so much attack. Now they're on defense. They're giving away the penalties. They're under pressure now. And Millennia with a great opportunity here to score.
Yeah, great opportunity. You know, penalties is like a virus the way it spreads. It just goes back to back to back to back, and that's what's happened to the Vikings. And they've got to defend this one and try and clear their lines.
Straight to the back here goes Millennia. Ball over the top there, just through the hands of the receiving line out. And this is into the hands of Western Washington. A knock-on called here by the referee. Looks like we had a double knock-on. It's going to be a scrum to Western Washington. First knock-on coming at the back of that line out. It looked like a pretty good throw there from Galley. Just got away from the receiver's hands and into the hands of Western Washington. Back down. Now we've got a scrum.
Yeah, it did look like a decent throw. I do have to say I second guess a little bit why they'd go to the back of the line out so close to the line, you know, keep it tight, get a bit of a maul going and try and punch one in. But they went to the back, it was a bit of a loose ball, and now Western Washington has the chance to clear and look for Pritchard's big boot to get them away.
And I think that there's 5 answers to that question, and it's the number 5, Lyndon Bailey, why they probably went to the back just to try to get away from him, as he's been a monster in the defensive lineout. Scrum here, well done. That's taken there by Moore off the side there to the right back, working his way infield, looking for the exit here is Western Washington. Galvez prepares here for the pass away. Onto the boot of Pritchard, I believe that was. That was partially charged down, it looked like. Filiva'a there does well to work his way up there. Great effort there by the left wing, getting there, scragging that ball out of the air after it was partially charged down, giving Western Washington another opportunity here to exit. This one into the hands of Yonker this time, as he slices this off the left boot, down the touch line. Not a ton of distance there, but a bit of breathing time and room here. Assistant referee standing just inside the 22 here. Another Millennial lineout.
Yeah, another lineout. I have to say, intelligent play though by Filiva'a there. You know, he caught the tip ball, you know, got tackled, released the ball, got back to his feet and saved them, I think, a little bit there.
Another lineout here goes awry for Millennia. This has got to be an area, we're approaching halftime here, just over 6 minutes left.
And then if it's on the other side,
Coach Ganem is going to have to take his lineout crew aside and say, hey guys, we need to make things simple. We need to get away from Bailey, and we need to take advantage of our opportunities when we're inside the Western Washington 22. Lost lineouts consecutively now, really hampering them in their opportunities to score.
Yeah, against a good team like the Vikings, you don't get too many opportunities inside their 22. As you just mentioned, Phil, 2 in a row they've blown from lineouts. And now Western Washington with a solid platform here can move the ball. Looks as though they're actually trying to move it, probably not just clear by lines. Let's see what they do here.
It does. The way they're set up here, indeed, goes back to Pritchard. Bit of a sleight of hand there from Western Washington. Ball kicked well by Pritchard there. Excellent kick. But it is taken quickly. Well done there by Muncie to keep this one going. It comes off the boot of Gonzalez Casola, but this one's going to drift into touch. And instead of a line out, you saw there Muncie probably a little bit worried. The lineout hasn't been going very well. Tries to get that one in quickly. And we had there Casola kicks that one, just drifting with this little bit of wind here we have in Indianapolis today.
Yeah, I think Muncie would probably want that one back. He did a nice quick line out early in the game when he had a good opportunity. Here with 5 minutes left, they've just come back into their half. You know, just be a little more conservative. Take your line out, clear your lines. But now Western Washington has the chance to strike.
Ball into Bailey off the top here to Galvez. Galvez plays it off into the hands of Seamus Tui, who drops that one into his forward partner. Look at that, was Moore there into the carry. Well done here by Western Washington. Back working their way around the corner again. Go the Vikings. And excuse me, that was Fergus Moore on that earlier carry, not Moore. It's another Moore. I'm just going to say Moore at this point. But right now, Millennia doesn't want any more of the Western Washington attack. They're set up here, flying up off the line, trying to close this thing down before Western Washington can build momentum here just before halftime.
Yeah, when you watch Western Washington, you can tell they know what they're doing, the shape that they want to get into. They're good and clean at the breakdown. They're setting a good platform. They go quick when they need to, and they go slowly when they need to. And we get a knock on here. It's not considered intentional, so it's just going to be a scrum down here, Phil, for the Vikings.
You saw Galvez there. He assumed that he had a player firing off of his inside shoulder there. That old Gregan ball off the side of the breakdown. Must have recognized that Millennia was drifting a bit from that A position, just sliding away from the breakdown instead of playing defense right next to it. He goes for that little inside Gregan ball, knocked down by Millennia.
Yeah, so it makes you wonder how many teams over the years have called Gregan as that play, since George Gregan was the artist of that, and it didn't quite work out for them, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see it again later in the match.
Yeah, Millennia has shown that they've had to drift pretty hard a few different times, and we've seen, you mentioned a few times, that dog leg defense. You've seen that A defender leave a little early a few times. He's got to stay at his post there, watch the breakdown, let that ball get 2 passes away, then he can take off and cover that inside for switches and balls back inside.
Yeah, it's an interesting balance. You got to be patient, and then you got to go.
Not always easy when it's almost 40 minutes in and you're a front rower. As we see Moore take this one off the side here, that's into the hands of number 13, Liam Herring, as he cuts back in field. Excuse me, that was Ashman cutting back in field into the hands of Yonker. Yonker breaking through 2 tackles here. Well done, 3 tackles nearly. Goes to number 10. Powerful run there. Galvez moves that one back away. Good job here by Western Washington, keeping runners straight here when they're a little bit isolated, getting back in towards their mates here as they work their way back in. That's number 3 there, Kellen Lefebvre, working his way through, trying to find space here in the defense. You can see number 7 here, Seamus Toohey, ready to go. Ball does go in behind, into the hands of Yonker. That's into the hands of Pritchard there. Back inside, that's number 23, I believe that's Ned O'Brien there, the starting 15 in the 23 jersey. As they work their way just inside the 5-meter line. Here goes Western Washington. Millennia here scrambling to get back in the defensive line, working their way back, trying to keep Western Washington out here for the last 2 minutes as Western Washington through the hands of Ishmael, working their way back inside again, just hammering in at that defense. That's into the hands of Yonker. Yonker passes that on to Pritchard. Well tackled there on Pritchard. That was number 10, Bruno Tavanti there with an ankle tap tackle, and it's going to result in a penalty for Millennia. Excellent work there by Tavanti. Just scragged Pritchard there by the foot, and it results in a penalty here for Millennia.
Yeah, phenomenal scramble defense there by Millennia, but what I will say is Western Washington gave them the opportunity. If they'd moved the ball through one more set of hands, they had the overlap. They're going in untouched. So a little bit too long of a carry there by them instead of moving the ball, and the price they pay is they give up a penalty, and now they've given up 30 meters.
And that's a good exit there, just inside their own 10-meter goal, Millennia. We do have a player down on the field here. That looks like it's Muncie with the number 11 on his back. He is down on the ground in some discomfort. Referee Lou blows the whistle.
Yeah, Phil, I didn't see what happened there. I just saw when they were cleared the penalty kick to the touchline that he was rolling down. Like you said, he looks as though he's in a lot of pain. You know, athletic trainers coming on to take care of him. We'll have a little brief break in the action, but I think both sides will have an opportunity to breathe here, which they both have deserved.
Definitely, especially since Millennia has really picked up their attack a bit, put Western Washington under some pressure. You've seen through a lot of carries there from both. Lambolia has worked his way through. You've seen Gratido, the number 9, really getting the ball out of the breakdown much more quickly when they're in the opportunity to attack. It's been kind of ball all over the place for Millennia. And then on the Western Washington side, you've really seen Bailey. You've seen both Harry Moore as well as Fergus Moore there earlier. You've seen their forwards really dominating on the carries, as well as some really organized attack from Yonker, moving that ball into Pritchard, who almost is playing as a second 10 there on the field. He's not really crashing the ball really hard. They're more relying on Liam Herring at number 13 and then spreading the ball wide to the wings to get that pace going forward versus their number 12 playing as that second playmaker.
Absolutely, yeah. Pritchard's definitely playing the role of second playmaker. Unfortunately, we've lost Muncie. It looks like they've got a reserve on for Millennia. Once again, I'll say what I said a few minutes ago, Phil. I think that the gym work and the carries of Western Washington are really starting to dent, this Millennia defense. Unfortunately, they didn't get to put one in there because of a turnover from a penalty, but they're definitely doing some damage on those carries through Moore and others.
We got Gali here ready to throw this one in off of the penalty. Big contest up in the air from Bailey. However, Millennia does win it through their number 9, Gratido. Big carry coming in there from the Millennia forwards. Another pick and go here, right on their own side, their own halfway. Now we've got a carry coming in here from Janaszewski. Cleared away again. You see Gratido there trying to get his hands on that ball earlier, but well done by Western Washington to slow it down just enough. Staying on the right side of the referee. Gratido plays this one away again, this time carried in by number 13, Marcos Menendez-Torres. Ball played away again by Gratido into the hands of Minoyetti. And Millennia right now one-off carriers into this contact. Western Washington flying up on defense from that 3rd and 4th defender, really shutting this down. This time it's Annabelle Gabriel Lambolia, captain from Millennial here, taking in the contact. Again, Western Washington coming up. This time Sorensen with the big contact early on. Double tackles coming in. Millennia working their way back and forth across the field through the hands of Peroni. Ball ripped away. Looks like this one may have popped out on the ground. The referee says not a Western Washington hand taking that off the ground there. Believe that is Pritchard that carries that one into contact. Yonker coming in here trying to play the number 9 position, but however knocked on. In a scramble back and forth there, Millennia working their way across the field, not really making many inroads into the Western Washington defense, end up 10 meters back, and it ends in a knock-on though for Western Washington.
Yeah, we get the whistle there for halftime, but you were right. I mean, the thing I think Millennia was making a mistake of there, like you said, Phil, one-off carry, one-off carry, one-off carry, and running into strong, big defenders like that didn't dent them really at all. And the result of it is they couldn't gain any territory. Now it's halftime and it's 24-7 scoreboard.
At 24-7 with some strong play by Western Washington, working their way down the field, earning those tries. Nothing's come easy so far, but you have seen the strength of Western Washington really carrying through their carries, as you mentioned earlier, Jeremy. And you've seen the Millennia just giving up some of those soft shoulders.
Yeah, absolutely. A good first half of rugby there, Phil. A lot for us to discuss and debrief on at halftime, and I'm looking forward to the second 40 minutes with you. It's nicely poised. Vikings in control. The game's certainly not over.
Jeremy, we are back here with just about 3 minutes left in halftime. This exciting first half between Western Washington and Millennia Atlantic. We went over a lot about how Western Washington was being physical. They were playing a bit more of a structured game. What are some things here going into the second half that you want to see Millennia do that can get them back into this one based on some of the success they have had?
Yeah, building on their success, I'd say take advantage of the conditions a little bit. The wind is blowing actually this way in their favor, so I'd say try and play a bit of territory down in the Vikings' end here to our left is one thing. Second thing is they've got to clean up their set piece. Their lineouts were a little bit disrupted, I would say, or beyond disrupted, especially by Bailey. So try and figure out, a throw to the front at 2 or, executing at the back, whichever it is, retaining that ball and getting into their strike plays, because we saw when they ran their strike plays, went the ball out the back to the edge, they were pretty effective. They just didn't have enough possession to be able to demonstrate it, and that's why they only have 7 points on the board.
And I'm a Western Washington. I won't let you give the old keep doing what they're doing. What is something Western Washington can tweak and something they can avoid in the second half to make sure that they take this one home?
Okay, well, I think they can keep doing what they're doing. But I would say, in all seriousness, I think they should keep doing what they're doing. They have to clean it up a little bit. They had a lot of penalties in about a 10-minute span there, and that really hurt them. So a little bit of better discipline at the breakdown would be really effective for them. And then get the ball to the edge more. We saw a couple of really great strike plays off the edge, and I don't think they moved the ball as quickly to the edge as they could. So I'd expect to see 11 and 14 with ball in hand a little bit more, and I think they can cause some problems because the dogleg defense for Millennia is a bit of an issue for them. They have to sort that out, or Western Washington will see an opening.
And as you mentioned there, the 11 and the 14 you're talking about is Ashman and Filiva'a, two of the try scorers from slightly different opportunities, but they are dangerous runners out there. And what we've seen is that Galvez and Yonker can move that ball quickly. They can get 1-2 passes out on the wing, take advantage of that dog leg, as you mentioned, and let's see if those guys can get running here. Just about a minute left before. I think that just piggybacking on what you were saying, keep doing what you're doing, right? But to avoid a letdown, right? We see it. We saw it. We see it throughout any game, doesn't matter the level. That second half, you come out, you're up now 24-7. How does the coaching staff right now talk to his Western Washington players? How is Coach Roberts talking to his team right now, trying to keep them from that letdown in the first 10 minutes, especially of the second half?
Yeah, great question. It's always a difficult one. They're probably feeling good about themselves at 24/7, but I'm sure that, Coach Roberts, Coach Horn, and the other coaching staff are saying, basically, and we've all said it as coaches, it's a 0-0 game at half. We've got to keep doing what we did in the first half to be able to execute. So they won't be riding a high right now. They'll know that they're in for a dogfight for the next 40 minutes and that the game isn't secure until probably minute 80.
And it definitely isn't, especially with Millennia, how they can play, how they can scramble, how they can work their way back into a game. We'll see if they come out as a second half team. They were working their way back into it, as we mentioned, and then there was just a little bit of a letdown there at the very end of the half. Very excited for the second half as we kick off here the College Rugby Association of America D1AA semifinal between Western Washington University and Millennia Atlantic. Second half coming at you, ready to go. Team's just about to run onto the field here.
Yeah, and while we have a second, Phil, what I'll tell you is what an amazing setup it is here. Right now we're watching the D1AA semifinals. First one this morning, a great one going here. If you look behind us, we've got the stadium pitch getting ready for tomorrow, especially the big one, the D1A final of Cal against Navy, which should be a real barn burner. And just how blessed are we, Phil, to be in a rugby environment like this and taking advantage of everything that CRAA rugby is offering us.
Especially when you think about these are some of the more curtain opening games. These are semifinals. These aren't finals. And we saw Iowa State, Arizona State in an excellent game. Iowa State was very strong in that one, came away with the big win. And now we've got here this game, another fantastic game, excellent skill on display. I can tell you this coming from a rugby player who is admittedly over 40 years old. College rugby did not look like this 20 years ago. This is a different brand of rugby. It's a different breed of athlete, and it is all sorts of positive signs for the American game.
Yeah, great signs. And if it didn't look like this 20 years ago, Phil, for you, it certainly didn't look like this 40 years ago for me. But it's still the world's greatest game. And that's what we see on display here. And that's what we're going to see for the next 40 minutes as the teams come back on. And I'm sure both teams are just in the mindset, we've got 40 minutes to grind and may the best man win.
It does look like we have one, unless it was a jersey swap at halftime, we do have one substitution here for Millennia. We've got number 20, Franco Biagioni, coming on the field. Looking out here for any substitutions that may have occurred for Western Washington. Don't see any new faces. See a few of the same haircuts that tripped me up a little bit in the first half. Apologies to any parents of any players who have a similar haircut that I get the name wrong. I promise I'll do my best to get it right for you. It's important what your sons are doing out here on the field right now. There's a lot of these young men are great examples in their community. We've got a lot of students. We see the majors here for a lot of these players. You see a lot of people that are going to make a great impact, not only as rugby players going forward, but as young men and then eventually older men in their communities.
Yeah, absolutely. And rugby's the greatest sport for that, right? In terms of the culture that they buy into, you know, whether they choose to play on after university, hopefully they do. But if they don't, you know, what an amazing four-year opportunity, both athletically and academically. And that's what makes it so fun to watch in so many ways, you know, over and above the professional game, because these guys are really just doing it for the love. They're not doing it for the paycheck.
And speaking of the love here, Pritchard ready to kick off the next 40 minutes on offer for both these sides. Second half action here gets started from Pritchard with a high kick just outside the 22. Charge down here, Western Washington. Looked like that may have been a knock on. However, referee keeps the hand down. Ball back in, and whistle does come out. I believe that was a knock on there in the contest in the air. Indeed it was. It'll be a Millennia scrum here just outside their own 22.
Yeah, great high kick. Unfortunately, a bit of a knock on a good aerial combat there. Unfortunately, knocked it on. Second knock on by Millennia. They'll have a scrum just outside their 22 with an opportunity to play a little bit. So let's see what they do with their first strike phase of the second half.
We've got just one player back here. We've got 15. Ned O'Brien back here for Western Washington. Millennia may take the opportunity here, probably a little bit too deep in their own territory to try to take advantage of one man back for 50-22, but let's see if they can put Western Washington under pressure here from the exit. Ball does indeed come away from Gratido, out the back, through the hands here, knocked on though by Millennia right off the bat. That was number 15, Ignacio Gonzalez-Casola, with that knock on there. Enterprising effort from Millennia right off the half here, but it is going to result in an attacking scrum opportunity for the Vikings.
Yeah, enterprising indeed, but as you said earlier in the game, you know, catch pass is essential. Really, they had a nice play set up there. It looked as though they could gain some great territory. Unfortunately, just, you know, ball didn't go to hand, and now they're defending a scrum just outside their 22. So let's see what the Vikings can do here. They're set up in their attack shape. With it looks like with the ball's going to be in Yonker's hands, and he's also got a wing inside him. So let's see what they run.
Yeah, and we've got out there, as you mentioned, Yonker here set reasonably flat. Does take this one at a bit of a standstill, kind of a half switch here. Pritchard coming back inside and pays the price for the slow play there from number 12, Monietti. Moore coming around the corner here, trying to find an arcing run into that Millennia defense. Millennia here working their way back upfield quickly on defense. Now getting rid of that dogleg. Great work there. They must have heard you at halftime there, as we see number 13, Januzewski, flying up. Big time contact here. And Millennia now working Western Washington back in the defensive area. Pritchard set here to receive this one. It does go to Bailey instead. Pritchard coming over the top to clear. Bailey does a good job there, just getting to ground, getting a meter there over the top as Western Washington setting up here. That's through number 6, Charlie Hepp. First time we've called his name on the carry so far today. Well done there by Hepp to keep that one going. Inside ball to Ashman there. A second Gregan attempt there, hammered back by that Millennia defense. Well done here by Millennia. Yonker goes to the boot over the top. Chasing across the field goes Gonzalez-Casola. Just outside his 22. Can't call a mark there. He is taken in contact. Well done, though, by the number 15 to get that one steady. Back over goes Millennia. This is through their lock. I believe that was Juan Fernandez Codutti, and into the hands of Lambolia. That one goes back here through to Vanti. Deep kick down there just inside the 10-meter from Western Washington. That's O'Brien there, chasing his way across the field, trying to find his forwards. He does well there, finally taken in the contact by Millennia defense, but he did work his way back over into his forwards there. That right there, that's Ishmael with the ball back in here. Again, tackled well that time. That was Pritchard there getting tackled by the Millennia defense. Millennia playing well here early on in the second half in defense.
Yeah, great physicality, much better physicality than we saw all first 40. You know, it really started about the first one-up tackle by Januzewski in the last phase. But here go the Vikings again, looking for the edge.
Well done. That was more into the hands of Tui, who tried to go for the offload there. That looked like it may have been knocked on by Western Washington. Millennia trying to take advantage here just inside their own half. However, this one collapses. Referee says unplayable in the breakdown. Going to talk to her assistant referee. See if there was an infringement there or if it's just run a play. Unplayable ball in the breakdown. Does indeed look like it was. It's going to be a Millennia scrum here. Ball made unplayable without an infringement there. You don't see that very often anymore. Usually referee wants to go to that whistle, determine fault for the ball being made unplayable. However, this time referee Lou decides some things just happen sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice that she's not the center of attention, that the teams are. Again, good effort there by Western Washington trying to hit the edge. A little bit of a loose pass resulting in a knock-on. But you can see how they want to play, can't you, Phil?
Yes, you can. Right now, let's see what they do off this. They've got a big, huge side of the field here to work with. Ball comes back in behind into the hands of Tavanti. This one now into the hands of the 15, Ignacio Gonzalez-Casola. Excuse me, that's the number 14, Rodriguez there, playing his way around, looping here. Now we've got Gratido playing this one, trying to play this one back in field. Indeed, he does. Ball taken there by number 13, Menendez-Torres. Well tackled by Western Washington. A few inches being made here at a time by Millennia. That's Fernandez Caduti there on the carry. Ball being played back. Another ball inside, though. Well tackled by Western Washington. Just a bit of momentum here being built by Millennia. Tackled again. I believe that's the hooker there, Gali, if I'm not mistaken. Tackled there by Western Washington's defense. Holding off here, spreading the field, fanning out in defense. Covering from 15 to 15. Ball back in field there. Ignacio Gonzalez-Casola tackled into touch. Didn't get that ball away on the offload before he went over the line. And it's going to be a Western Washington line out.
Wow, Phil, incredible defense there by Western Washington. I mean, from the first phase strike play when they tried going out the back, they were very patient on defense, pushed out to the edge, defended it really well. Their physicality told once more there, but I just love the way they stayed disciplined. You know, they went man-to-man. If they had to cover a little bit of a gap, they did, and they end up with possession.
And Sorensen here to throw in. I'll give you one guess who this one's going to. I would have been wrong. First time in the game, well done. This one went into Ishmael there, the number 1 on his back, jumping. Every front row's dream to jump in a line out there. Ball into the hands of Tui as he tries to work his way over the 10-meter line. Western Washington trying to decide whether they want to exit. Indeed, it looks like they're going to through the boot of Yonker. Nice kick here just inside, nearly into that 5-meter channel. However, good counterattacking opportunity here for number 14, Rodriguez. Rodriguez makes his way back into the Western Washington half, and we'll see Millennia back on the attack. Well carried here, just working their way over. Western Washington, oh, here we go. This is number 4 here, now over Cardez. Good carry by him, but not a great finish on the pass. This one taken in the hands by Moore. Moore to Filiva. Filiva trying to just find his way back, get himself set up here with his team. Millennia coming scrambling back over top of that breakdown, though. Well done there. Looks like they've stolen this one. Indeed, they have. Millennia now playing a bit of scramble rugby here over top inside the 22. Ball into the hands of number 1, Peroni. He's been carrying the ball a lot throughout this game from that loose head position. Into the hands of Tavanti. Tavanti throws a flat pass here to Minietti. Minietti tackled well. Still a bit of one-off running here, though, Jeremy, but we do see a chip kick coming through there from, that looked like that was Tavanti again. Ball infield there to Caduti. This time it's Caduti, excuse me, that was carried in there, this time by Ricardez. Ball running hard here comes Millennia. That's number 13, Menendez-Torres, bursting through the line on the short ball, and it's a try. Millennia Atlantic over the line, just to the left post there. Huge try there to build momentum for Millennia, Jeremy.
Great momentum, great patience. They had multiple phases there. They weren't getting a lot of go-forward ball, but they remained patient, ball retention. And actually, ironically, we talked about the Gregan, for Western Washington a couple of times. That was a back inside ball there to the 13, and Menendez-Torres finished it really well. And now we really have a match, 24-12 kick to come, and pretty straightforward kick, I would say here, Phil.
Yes, definitely here. We've got Gratido doing the honors here from the scrum half position. Gave that inside ball. Excellent work, though. You saw just chip, 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 chip. burst. That's what we're seeing right now out of Millennia, and they're taking their time, they're being patient, and then when they have the opportunity, they're attacking the line with fervor would be the word I would use. They're going after when they get the opportunity.
Yeah, very aggressive there with ball in hand, and now 24-14, and they've shown that they can play. And again, as we said, coming into the second half, they needed some ball, and they needed to play down the Vikings' end of the pitch. They've had ball, they've played down the Vikings' end, they've got a score, we've got 10-point game. And they'll be riding a bit of a high, and Western Washington's got to quell the fire a little bit.
Now Pritchard here, I would imagine, is going to go deep with this kick, try to get the ball back. Let's see what he decides to do. That'd be my take on it. Indeed, he does go deep here. This one flying down into the 22, taken by Millennia there. Oh, that was number 14 there, Rodriguez, with that one charged down by Western Washington. However, they do scrabble back, get back on that ball. Millennia now, though, playing to the right side here with a bit of an opportunity from inside their own 22. Well done. That's into the hands of the wing, Rodriguez again. And this one, however, not releasing from Western Washington. And again, another opportunity for Millennia.
Yeah, we talked about momentum. Here goes momentum again going in their favor. Not releasing again. Chance to put the ball to touch, gain some good territory. Looks as though they are going to punch it to the sideline. But we just said, their backs have got to be up. They've got to be feeling good about themselves. And I look forward to seeing what they do with this next play from this attacking lineout.
Yeah, you start to get that tail, those tails up, that back up. You start to really get that momentum going. You start to play downhill. That's what we call it, right? You're playing downhill. Right now, Western Washington has to marshal the troops, regather, get back to the basics, get back in this one. Definitely not losing a grip by any means on this game, but Millennia is right now asserting themselves in almost every opportunity.
Yeah, great assertion by Millennia. They're playing downhill, as you said. They're also playing, as I said, a little bit with the wind, which definitely helps them. Good clean line out there with another opportunity.
Here we go. That's Tavanti out there. Ball just a little bit scrappy there, but that does end up in the hands of Menendez-Torres there. Does well to keep hold of that one. Was right down at his hip. Did a great job picking that one up. Tavanti now, this one into the hands again of the Millennia attack. We've got Gratido here moving the ball. Tavanti doing well marshaling the troops around. However, this one looks like it's going to be knocked on. Ripping for the ball is Western Washington there, and indeed it was a knock on there by Millennia. Well done, though. Just even with that knock on, it looks like we have a quick chat here between the referee and her assistant referee.
Yeah, Phil, I didn't see anything there. I don't know what the conversation is. Obviously, we'll wait for the outcome of this. It looked like there was a knock on. Let's see what they come back to. It looks like the referee's made a decision, and I think we're just going to play the knock on.
And you mentioned it earlier. Head referee Lou here today with her assistant referees has had to assert herself at times, but at the same time, she hasn't made it about her. Her whistles come out a few times. She's had to go to the pocket, but everything has been about keeping the game moving. It's been a really impressive performance from her so far as well. Referee, an underrated part of the game oftentimes.
Yeah, underrated, and as I said, when you don't hear or see much of them, it usually means it's a better match. She's got great control of this match. She's kept everything pretty calm. And it looks as though we actually have a knock on here. It looks as though it went against the Vikings. So Millennia will have a beautiful attacking platform here, just outside of the 10-meter on the attacking side.
Great interjection there by assistant referee Joshua Musanera. We do have that knock on here, and we have a Millennia scrum. And it's going to be another free kick here for Millennia from the scrum. Quickly taken there by Millennia. Ball into the hands again of Torres. He's been a monster all over the field throughout the first part of the second half. However, it is going to be crawling on the ground. Penalty here for Western Washington. Holding on that second movement, whatever we want to call it. Just trying to keep a hold of that thing on the ground for that extra split second. Referee Lou calls the extra crawling.
Yeah, I think it was the right call. I'll tell you one thing, though, Phil. Menendez-Torres knows what he's doing. He looks like a really savvy rugby player. And so the Vikings are going to have to really defend him well. Obviously, they got the defensive call there, but he's definitely doing some damage in this second half.
And there we saw Rodriguez just try to play that one quickly. Millennia wants to play so quickly that they're throwing in quick lineouts on penalties. They don't care. They want that ball moving right now, and good on them as well, because that's what's really creating opportunities for them. While we see here Sorensen setting the lineout, going back at the back of that lineout again to Ishmael, wants to keep this thing structured. You see them go to the maul here inside their own half. Well done here by Western Washington. 15 to 20 meters chewed up. We've got Lefebvre here with another big carry, the tight head prop, charging through that defensive line for Millennia. Well done. Ball does come out into the hands of Yonker. Moves the ball in behind to the number 13. That was Herring there with a flat ball. Well done there. We've got Filiva'a again carrying that one in on a sharp line. Excellent work here. Tui now carries the ball inside the 22 for Western Washington. Millennia scrambling a bit in defense. However, again, holding on. Well done there by Millennia in a scramble situation. I would love to see the replay there so we can get the number on that defensive player. That was fantastic work, coming backward over top from the wrong side of the breakdown, getting onside, getting his hands on that.
Yeah, well done by Millennia, but the Vikings will be disappointed because they've had really good go-forward ball, and 3 or 4 times now in a row, they've been slow to the breakdown. They've had good carries that have got behind the defensive line, which gives you an attacking opportunity, but they haven't supported the ball carrier, and they've been turned over.
Quickly in here goes Millennia, learning from the first half, keep that ball away from Bailey, ball back in behind again. Well tackled, though. That's number 12, Minighetti there, just shrugging away from the first contact, moves the ball into the hands, and another knock on there from Millennia as they try to move that ball wide. Western Washington taking advantage here through the boot of Herring, just chips that over the top. It's going to be Gonzalez Casola chasing that thing back. Well chased there by Herring, and it's going to be a penalty there. The quick kick, the chase, and the created penalty from Herring. Excellent individual effort from the outside center.
Oh, I love that kick. He saw there was nobody back there. He backed himself. You know, great chase. He wasn't tempted to dive on the defensive player, which would be a penalty. Kept his feet, stayed on, got his hands on the ball. Now we have an attacking line out 5 meters from the line. And the Vikings, for the first time in a few minutes, have got some momentum about 7 or 8 meters from a strike play.
And it's been their structure that's created it, as well as individual efforts, of course. The individual effort comes inside of the structure. As Sorensen here going up, looks like this is going to go to Bailey in the middle of that line-out drive here. Quick little chip around the corner there comes Lefebvre. Little bit of a trickery move there, well read by Millennia. Good defense there from the Macaws. Ishmael here with the latch-on carry, drives his way nearly over the line, just inches short. Thought he may have made it over. Looks like that might be number 13, Liam Herring in there, getting involved in the action. Latch on here to big number 5, Lyndon Bailey. Carried in again. This ball needs to go wide here, Jeremy. Or does it? Another burrow down there. Referee blows the whistle. And we have a call here. Looked like it may have been a try indication at first, but it looks like a second. Do we have a second movement? Oh, no, it looks like we do have a try. Try, Western Washington.
Yeah, Phil, that was a difficult one for you to talk about because it did look as though she signaled like he was crawling. I don't know what the hand signal was there, but clearly, you know, they penetrated, results in a score, and you'd called it. If they hadn't moved the ball to the left, I think they had about a 5-man overlap, but they didn't need it. The big ball carriers did the damage. And now, once again, you know, George Pritchard, ball in hand ready, try and put another 2-pointer on to make it 31-14. But Western Washington will be breathing a little bit more easily after those last couple of minutes.
Yeah, they were under pressure there for the beginning part of the second half, as well as some of the end of the first half there. And now, with 17 minutes nearly gone on this one, getting back over the try line, over the whitewash, and doing it through their forwards, through structured play, through hard work. No, no intercepts, no charge downs. This was a structured, hard-working, chew it out kind of momentum building try. And the score here, 2 points on the board from Pritchard, great off the boot again, as Western Washington draws away slightly here, 31-14, as we come up upon the final quarter of this one. Millennia walking up for this kick here, not dejected yet, not deflated yet, but Western Washington did take a bit of air out of the sails on that last try.
Yeah, they took some air out of the sails, but Millennia know that they can score quickly. And
well taken there. Sorry by Tui. Sorry, Jeremy. Just have to call it out. Well taken by Tui. And then no wrapping here on another contact with a ball carrier coming down from that catch from Western Washington. No card coming out on this one. This was a bit more innocent than the one in the first half that saw send Ricardez to the bin. and a kick here from Tui. What were you saying? Sorry, Jeremy, can you finish that thought for me?
Yeah, no apology required. No, all I was saying there is Millennia showing that they can play fast and they can strike fast. So, they won't feel that they're out of the game by any stretch. We've still got about 22 minutes left in this match, and so we'll see what they can do.
Short line out to the back. Another good throw from Sorensen. Excellent work there into the hands of Bailey. He's been fantastic all game, as has Sorensen with those lineouts, working his way into what looked like he was going to try to play scrum half there. However, we do have Galvez coming in. Big ball carry coming in here. That's number 7, Seamus Tui. He's been all over the field today in the ball carrying position. Great work to keep those legs driving. Another Gregan ball. They're 2 for 4 so far on those ones, but you might as well keep going for it. Ball back over to Moore here, out of the hands of Bailey. Moore does well to step back in field. Number 6 there, Santiago Caveda Mendoza with the tackle. Into the hands of Tui again, out the back door, into the hands of Yonker. We've got number 13, Liam Herring there, trying to step around, gets the ball away. Ball now into the hands of Filiva'a. Filiva'a, dangerous try score from earlier in the game. Looks like he kept that one. I thought ball may have gotten away from him there. Indeed, it did. Knock on there, Western Washington. Exciting stuff, though, from the Vikings playing sideline to sideline. Well worked. Great job there, Yonker. He's been commanding the attack so far today. He did an excellent job there moving that ball wide. And a great set of soft hands over here from Bailey to Moore, just almost getting away, if not for the tackle of Caveda Mendoza.
Yeah, you called it already. Harry Moore, really intelligent. That's the thing you look at these young players is just, are they showing rugby IQ? Well, Harry Moore showed great IQ because the tendency there is to drift towards the touch line, go into touch, it's a turnover. He was intelligent, slowed his feet, cut back inside. They got the possession, hit the edge really well. Unfortunate knock on, but beautiful phased rugby for them to build on.
And that's been their story so far today. And I think that I wanted to say that while we were chatting a bit ago is I think that it's the structure of Western Washington that they need to lean on right now to really pull the air out of this game for Millennia. Millennia wants to get back into this. They want to scrap. They want to find their way, get that lucky or that exceptional try here within the next 3 to 5 minutes or so and try to get back into this one right away. Western Washington pulls the air out of the game, keeps this thing deflated, keeps everything on the ground level, and they have a great chance to really grind it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, we've said Millennia can strike, but they've got to have the ball and they've got to play down the other end of the pitch. Western Washington shows a lot of patience. They show skill really 1 through 15. And so if they stick to their structure, which they've shown all 60 minutes, they'll probably feel very confident. They just can't give up another score too quickly to Millennia because Millennia will really feel good about themselves after that.
Western Washington here defending pretty narrow through their number 11 Ashman. They do have 2 back 3 players back here looking for either a run or kick. Millennia set 2 reset scrums here. Referee Lou trying to get a hold of this thing in the scrum. We haven't had a ton of scrums today, but she's done a great job refereeing each and every one of them. See if we can't get this one. But this is right now is playing into the hands of Western Washington. Every second that ticks off the clock is a second in their favor.
Yeah, absolutely. Parity is not parity if you're up by 17 points on the scoreboard, which is where the Vikings sit. So they'll take milk in the clock any second, but they still know there's a long way to go. So we've got to get the ball in play here and see what happens. Take your chances.
It looks like Millennia here is set to possibly attack off this left side rather than exit. Pretty flat at the line here. Indeed, the ball does come into the hands of Tavante. Tavante moves this one in behind. They've worked this move a couple times throughout the game. It's gone a knock-on twice. This time it's number 15, Gonzalez Casola, inserting himself in the line there. Had to stutter step there, just get to ground. We got the ball moving back across the field here. Tavante into the waiting arms of number 7, Tiago Orden. Ball back around the corner again. Millennia here trying to play big-time tackle coming in from Western Washington. May have been a bit of a dump there. However, referee says play on for now. And Millennia setting here. Looks like they may have been exiting. However, playing flat at the line again. We've got Casola again across the field here. Ball does hit the deck for a second. However, it's picked up by number 7, Orden again. Ball moving back into the hands of the danger man, Torres. Torres well tackled, though, by Western Washington. Kick finally does come in from Gradado. This is O'Brien here letting this bounce a couple times off the turf, trying to gather it, moving his way sideways. In trouble here is O'Brien. Well tackled here. Number 14, Rodriguez, and number 15, Casola over top of it, and it is indeed a penalty here for Millennia.
Yeah, I think O'Brien was very indecisive there. You know, played into the hands of Rodriguez. Good pursuit there by Rodriguez. O'Brien was a little bit hesitant, and the price now is that they have given up a line out. So Millennia have a beautiful attacking platform about 7 meters from the Vikings line, and they really need to put one in here with about 17 minutes to go.
We talked about a 3 to 5 minutes, get that try and you're back inside of this game, and you're really playing from an advantage position here. Let's see if Millennia can execute this line out against this fantastic Western Washington line out defense. Full line out here, indeed, great move here from Millennia, going to the front, just in front of Bailey. They do set their maul. Ball trying to come back here, well defended by Western Washington. However, Millennia sticking to it. Gritty line out maul attack here. Ball over the top, and it's going to be a penalty though, pulling that maul down. And now we've got a couple of penalties in a row on Western Washington.
Yeah, I think that the Vikings will feel under a bit of pressure here. I'm sure the referee's looking at them. She hasn't spoken to them yet, but they're taking a scrum here, so they fancy their chances off this platform. Be interesting to see what they run.
And I think this is a great call. They've won a couple lineouts here on the trot. However, we saw the impact that Bailey had in the first half. We saw in some of the beginning of the second half. Millennia's done a great job with their platform in the scrum so far, just keeping the ball in play. And we can see here, Yonker set to the right. Where's our danger man? Torres there in that third position in his 13 jersey with Minuyetti inside of him. Another reset scrum here from the referee, talking to both front rows. Looks like she may be talking to them simply about their set here, talking to both hookers. Let's get the front row set. Let's get our height correct. Stability here is the key. Shoulders slightly above hips. And she's really allowed them to have a strong engage so far, really working together. But she has required them to do it legally. She hasn't allowed any hips driving up or down. She hasn't allowed anything driving in across. She's really been precise working with the front rows here so far today.
Yeah, she's letting them get their feet back, getting their timing right, and it's paid off. Safety first, right? You don't want any accidents up in the front rows as they come to the blind side here with a big carry by their 8-man.
Lambolia, well done there off the left side. We've got there Gratido playing the ball back infield. Good carry coming in here from Millennia, trying to reset here against this Western Washington defense. Western Washington pretty tight here. See if Millennia can work them in. Another carry here, just getting over the gain line goes Millennia. Well done by the forwards. Trying to find some structure here. Let's see if Millennia can work into their pick and jam game. Away from the post they go. Another half meter there gained by Millennia, just inching toward that line. Well defended by Western Washington. A little bit high in that carry there. Over the line goes Millennia. And indeed, it's a try for Millennia. The Macaws flying high on the ground, smashing over the line there with the pick and jam game. A little bit of extracurricular activities here. It looked like that may have been number 12, Minuyetti there, going over the line for that try from his inside center position. Getting involved in the tight work there was Minuyetti.
Yeah, great work in the tight there, and we talked about in the first half. When you're that close to the try line, you've got some big ball carriers. Be patient, pick and jam from the base of the ruck. They did that for several times in a row, and eventually there's going to be a gap, and they were able to get through it. So we definitely have a game on our hands right now at 31-19 with the somewhat difficult kick to come, but 10 or 12 points, they'll be feeling good about themselves for the last 14 minutes.
Yeah, that was an excellent series of play building up there from Millennia, really going into the forward game, keeping it tight, then working down into the pick and jam. They found an opportunity. They were a little bit high in their carries, but they did get away with it, crashing over top of the line. One thing they were doing well there was latching on to their own players. They were getting involved from that secondary position, latching in and driving their guys over the line. And it's Minuyetti that comes up with the try.
Yeah, the pre-latch was definitely very effective. It looks like a nice kick there. Oh, it comes off the post.
Just off the post. Those 2 points pretty vital there. That would have put Millennia within a try and a penalty kick. This time, you did math much quicker than I can do, but right now they are 12 points in arrears, and we will see what happens here as we come in on this last 10 minutes of this match. Very exciting, as you mentioned, Jeremy, so far. Anybody's ball game still. One try could end this thing for Western Washington or bring Millennia right back into the game.
Yeah, absolutely. The next try is key. I think if the Vikings put one in, probably a little bit of a bridge too far with about 12 minutes to go. But if Millennia can strike next, then all of a sudden we are in for a real firefight at the end of this match.
And it is Millennia here doing well to regather that initial kickoff. That thing was put very high into the air by Pritchard. It was well done by Millennia over there as they play through their forwards here into the middle of the field. Likely there's no scramble time yet. They can still kick. They can still use territory. But as we know from Millennia, they're probably going to play this as much as they possibly can. They were playing from this position 5 minutes into the game. Looks like it is a turnover here, though. All for naught as we go through the hands of Sorensen. Good carry here by the hooker, driving his way through. We were talking about Millennia just a bit ago as it goes into the hands of Bailey, and an arcing run by the second row. Looked for the offload, did the wise thing there, carries that thing to ground. Well done there by Bailey. Into the hands of Sorensen now. Ball carrying coming in from Western Washington, and again sucking the air out of this one with 12 minutes left are the Vikings. Into the hands of Pritchard. Pritchard driving straight at the line, one-off runner, carrying hard, ball in two hands, over top of the Millennia defense. We've got a substitute here, two substitutes here ready for this ball. We've got 21, Kalen Lee, and number 18, Reed Burmaster, working their way over this one. Into the hands of Yonker. Yonker tackled well there by his opposite number, Tavanti. Good job by the Western Washington attack to regather into the hands of O'Brien. Back a little bit stagnant there. However, he does retain possession. Ball coming back into the hands of the Western Washington attack. Slowly trickling the time off this game, driving towards the line. Now just to the 5-meter line. Go the Vikings. Good attack here. Several phases being put together. Bailey now, the man that started this attack from outside the 22 with that great run, carrying now in between the posts. Good attacking opportunity here for the Vikings. Back they come against the grain. Into the hands of Ashman, the try score from earlier. Big step back inside there from the wing. Well done by the Millennia defense here. Still scrambling, still putting shoulders on. Tui now with the tackled by the Millennia defense. Carries it in. Great hit put on him there by Minuyetti. As Western Washington here works their way across the field. Into the hands of Yonker again. Yonker just off the face there. That was number 13, Herring. That ball bouncing off of him here. Knock on by Western Washington. So after all that, they serve to take about 3 minutes off the clock. But Millennia does have this scrum just inside their own 22. Jeremy, 10 minutes left, 12 points down. The boot goes pretty much out the window at this point for Millennia.
Yeah, I think it goes out the window. To be honest with you, they haven't really been a boot team for the match. They really like to play with ball in hand, and that's definitely where their strength is. Some great phases there by the Vikings. I thought it started, you called it. Sorensen had a couple of really good carries. Bailey came through running like he was a center, just couldn't break through the last defender, and ultimately they've given up possession. But as you said, they had the ball for about 3 or 4 minutes. They're still deep in Millennia's end. They'll still be feeling good about themselves. They've just got to get through 1 more or 2 more defensive phases and try and stay down to put one in themselves.
Let's see if we see here with Rodriguez looping around here. I could almost imagine this ball is going to go to Tavanti. Rodriguez looping around. You're probably going to see Casola insert himself here. They've run that play multiple times. It's been effective about 50% of the time. They've had a handling error the other times, but I think that's what they go to here again with that Western Washington defense set very narrow, looking to drift them into the touchline here inside their own 22.
Yeah, if you look at how they run their strike play offset piece, that's what they like to do, go out the back. They've been consistent with it. I will say I think the Vikings have defended it really well every single time, resulting in a couple of knock-ons. But I don't think at this stage of the season Millennia is going to change their game plan.
We've got here reset scrum here by the referee Lou. As a bit of this reset has crept into the last 20 minutes of this one. Mentioned earlier, as a former front rower myself, I could say that some of these likely are on purpose by the Western Washington front row. Try to slow the game down. We've said it. Millennia wants to speed this thing up. They've got to they're not in 100% danger zone right now, but as we creep into 8 minutes, 2 tries that they need on this one, 2 converted tries they need to win this one. And an unconverted and converted to get the tie to go into the extra time, which has changed this year. We can explain that if by chance Millennia does bring us to extra time. As the scrum comes in, penalty here for Western Washington though. as we say all that explaining about the set piece play, the strike play, it ends with physical dominance from the Vikings.
Dominance indeed. That was an incredible defensive scrum by the Vikings. The defensive scrum turned into an offensive scrum, resulting in a penalty. You said you were talking about the dark arts, Phil. I know you applied it a few times in your career. You know, my best friend and fellow prop of yours, Scott Bracken, talks to me all the time about the dark arts. And Western Washington did a nice job of it. They didn't push the limit that they're getting a penalty against them for a little infringement as the scrum setting, but they are milking time off the clock. And now, as you can see, we're under 8 minutes and they have a penalty.
I would have to, just one correction there, I probably had the dark arts applied to me more than I applied them to anybody else with some of the props that I had the good fortune to play against in my day. But yeah, as you mentioned, Western Washington not only bleeding time, creating that penalty, showing physicality, sucking the life out of this game over and over and over again. They're sticking to their game plan, and it's working for them. Line out here to come for Sorensen. Ball inside to Bailey. Well done. Straight down into this maul. You got Sorensen at the back of this, a place he's very comfortable with. It does look like it may have gone down there. Referee has not put her arm out for any advantage. Play on, she says. Ball into the hands of Pritchard as he charges into a big contact tackle there. That was number 12, Money Yeti, with another big collision from the 12 position on his opposite number, Pritchard. Western Washington here digging this one out. Looks like we have Sorensen here ready for a pick and jam to the right into the post here. Western Washington instead all into the hands of Yonker, through the hands of Moore. That's O'Brien here taking this one, losing ground. Little basketball pass away into the danger man Ashman's hands. Well done. However, it looks like he may have knocked that one forward, straight down and forward. It does indeed go. 6.5 minutes left in this one. Millennia breathing some life as we get another bit of extracurricular activity between these two. A little scuffle here. Nothing crazy. I believe that there was either a word that had very pursed lips there from Torres, or there may have been something else that was going on there. We may have children watching, so Jeremy and I will not try to read lips on this one. It looks like we've got some scraps, nothing else going on here. Referee allows us to play, speaks to her assistant referee. A bit of emotion boiling over here from the Millennia side.
Well, I think emotion on both sides, right? You know, 6 minutes left, still a tight match. The match isn't over. What I will say, you called the right play, and I think the Vikings made the mistake, which they haven't made many mistakes this game. They should have just kept the ball tight there at the ruck, pick and jam, pick and jam, pick and jam. They tried to get it out to the edge. It was very slow. It was very static. The runner was taking it flat-footed. Good defense there by Millennia, resulted in a bit of a fracas or whatever you want to call it.
A kerfuffle, if you will.
A kerfuffle indeed. And we'll see what the result is. I don't think there's anything too egregious there. Just a lot of testosterone against two very tired teams.
Definitely, and as you get a little bit more tired, Millennia here a little bit chippy in that extracurricular. And then again, from Western Washington, as you mentioned, they're not going to back down. They're the ones winning this game right now. They don't want to back down from any kind of challenge that comes from Millennia, be it a shoulder on a big tackle or a bit of talking after the fact.
Yeah, I think the only thing the Vikings need to be careful of here, they can't afford for a man in the bin. I don't know if she's going to the pocket here, but with 6 minutes left and still only 12 points, you know, you don't want to play the rest of the game with 14 men. So she's taking a couple of minutes to talk to them. So let's see if she goes to the pocket or if it's just a conversation. We'll see what comes as a result of this, Phil.
Looks like just a conversation. It is going to be a penalty here for Western Washington. Shoulder high and a contact there by Millennia. It looks like, see referee Lou put her hand to the shoulder there, indicating it was a high contact. And it is going to be Western Washington with the opportunity for another line out.
So quick quiz here, Phil. Line out, 7 meters. Who are they going to throw it to?
You know, I've got a whole team sheet here of people that they could throw it to. I'm going to go with Lyndon Bailey. He's been absolutely impressive today in the line out, as well as Sorensen having confidence to throw that ball up to him even when he's been challenged a few times. And not only going up in the air as we get ready for this lineup, but also leading that maul. He comes down, he's in a strong position, he gets the ball back quickly. You see him yelling at his other forwards, dragging that, turning that maul, working hard from that odd position where your back is to the defense. But you've seen Bailey really marshal that line out, not only in the air, but also after the fact in that maul.
Yeah, and a couple of times earlier in the game, we saw them go to the back with Ishmael. He's not on the pitch right now, so I think I'm going to support your vote of a Bailey catch here, and probably a catch and drive. Let's see what they do.
And it does look like we have Kalama Tamashiro on, and indeed it does go to the back. We're wrong again. We've guessed it twice. We've been wrong twice. Well done. Tui around the corner. Excellent work here from Western Washington, digging right in there, biting into the defense of the Millennia here. Ball away to Yonker. Yonker into the hands of Herring, but Herring drops that one. Ball flies backwards. Looks like the referee indicates that it was indeed a knock-on.
Yeah, once again, they're trying to chance their arm a bit, moving it through the hands. You know, with 5 minutes left, you know, now under 5 minutes left, I still think they're playing a bit of a risky game there. They're in the 22. Why not slow it down, play it a little bit tighter, build your phases, look for an opportunity. They had great go-forward ball off the back of the line out, great carry by Tui, and then they go and chance their arm through the backs, and I just wouldn't do that at this stage of the game.
I bet you everybody that's watching us at home that's worn a double-digit number on their back is saying, Jeremy, Phil, no, throw that thing wide, put a chip kick in, have a bit of fun. But I agree with you 100%. Just keep that thing in tight. Tui had an amazing carry off the back of that lineout, bit right into that Millennia defense, and they were scrambling to get around the corner. Whenever you dent 8, 9, 10 meters in there, the defense has to scramble back around that breakdown. So you've got the advantage of your guys coming forward into that second and third channel where there's usually 2 or 3 defenders. There might only be one, and he's scrambling. And with the ball carriers of Western Washington, you've got the advantage there.
Yeah, absolutely. You talked about double digits, definitely won the ball in hand, but I think in this case the job is up to, you know, about 10, Tui to make the decision and say to the scrum half, don't move the ball.
Yep. Here's that move from Millennia again. They've been working it all game. This time tackled just outside their own 22. Gratido plays that one back in field into the hands of his forwards. Huge smashing tackle coming in from Tamashiro. Millennia does recover though. Big time tackle coming in from the reserve forward. Another tackle coming in. Big energy off the bench here. We also see number 19, Charlie Despain Tanya is on the field. And as I mentioned earlier, number 18, Reed Burmaster in. Kick over the top by Millennia. Played back into the hands of O'Brien. O'Brien trying to find his way through this defense. Slips through. Little Barry Sanders-esque spin move there from O'Brien. Inside the 22 goes Western Washington. Back inside here, under 4 minutes left in this one. Western Washington playing through the hands, into the hands of Sorensen again. The hooker really strong here in the second half. Tons of carries for him. It is going to be a knock-on though. As I sing his praises, Sorensen does knock that one on. Doesn't take away the great work he's done so far in this one. Just a bit of an error there trying to hold on to that one.
No, he's been a standout for sure. I mean, there's several standouts across both teams, but you know, Sorensen, a little bit of a pushing going on here in the background as well, so hopefully that gets deflated. But no, Sorensen's been really strong, Phil. You've called his name a lot. I really like him as a player. Obviously, we've talked about Bailey, we've talked about Tui, we've talked about Yonka, we've talked about Galvez. I mean, they've got athletes and good rugby players across the board. I just think some of their decision making in the last couple of minutes of the game has not been showing their rugby IQ. And, you know, no knock on them and no knock on Adam Roberts. I'm sure, you know, he's obviously coached them to an extremely high level. I think right now he would be saying, look, the boys, keep the ball in hand, keep it tight. We've got 3 minutes left. We're 3 minutes and 15 seconds away from possibly being in a D1AA national championship in 2 days.
And if Western Washington does indeed hold on to this one, they'll be taking on Iowa State in that championship. That will be a very exciting game based on what Iowa State did earlier. 2 hugely physical teams going against each other here in 2 days, if that does end up being the case here. And under 3 minutes left, Millennial here with an opportunity. However, we've got looks like another reset. I saw the 2 arms go up as almost a double free kick look there, but we've got the reset here from referee Lou. As the clock continues to tick down. The worst enemy of Millennia right now is the next 2.5 minutes. The faster they go, the less likely their opportunity for a comeback becomes. Getting close to miracle territory here. Big scrum from Western Washington comes in, pile driving over the top of Millennia, and it's going to end up with a knock-on. Number 8 there, Lembolia, and number 9, Gratido, trying to get that one out of there. Huge pressure coming through from the Western Washington tight 5, driving over the top, and we saw a loose head. We saw the loose head from Western Washington, keeping his bind in, not driving in hits from the side, big time over the top. Millennia just overmatched in that scrum.
Yeah, that's 2 scrums in a row. One, they got turned over for a penalty. This one, the pressure as they tried to pick it up resulted in a knock-on. So Western Washington, the Vikings are really squeezing the life out of Millennia at the end of this match. We've got another substitution right now, well-deserved rest. It looks like that's Ishmael who's going off. No, sorry, that's Philivar who's gone off after a good performance out there. And there's 1:40 left. I think, can we say this one's done, Phil?
I don't think it's ever over, but with a minute and a half left here with the scrum right on that 22, Western Washington here as Moore picks this one to the right. Great charging run here from the number 8 on some tired legs and through some tired legs, reaching out for that second, and it's a knock-on the ground there from Moore as he tried to just extend that left arm. Excellent effort there from the number 8, powering through the Millennia defense on tired legs 79 minutes in. He's had a heck of a game as well.
Yeah, Moore's been really strong off the back of the scrum. He's been strong in loose play as well, defensive side of the ball. We didn't mention him a second ago, but definitely another guy who's put his hand up for player of the match honors. And I know you didn't want to concede it, but with 50 seconds left and they're in the shadow of their goalposts, what do Millennia have to do here to score 12 points?
They would probably have to reinvent the rules of rugby, especially with that scrum just absolutely hammer on anvil is Western Washington. They drive over the line here on the Millennia scrum. Looking for referee Lou's indication. It looks like it may be a reset scrum here if I'm not mistaken, trying to see what the call is. As that almost looked like a maul there. Western Washington just pile driving their way through that Millennia pack. Huge power coming in there from the Western Washington tight 5. You have to wonder if, based on this scrum performance in the second half, if Western Washington doesn't really have a starting and bench group, if they more have players that come in for scenarios, because this scrum has just, even from how strong it was in the first half, elevated here in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's elevated. The finishers have definitely done the job, and I think the Millennia definitely look like they don't have the depth, and so the power of the Vikings is definitely telling. With the clock is actually up, Phil, so we'll see what they can do with one more possession.
And it is Moore that drives his way over off the weak side of that scrum, left side Moore. We've got Harry Moore off the left side of that scrum. We talked about how well he's done off the base of the scrum all day. Yep. Hand went up there. It is indeed a try for Western Washington. Bit of heckling coming from the Vikings back and forth with the Macaws. But that try will end this one here. 36-19 with the kick to come. Looks like we're just going to go with a drop kick here from Yonker. He's just going to try to pop this one over. He does slice this one off away from the post there. Referee Lou indicates that this one has come to conclusion. Western Washington, the Vikings, pulling away here at the end of the half, taking the life out of this game and coming away with a 36-19 win over Millennia Atlantic.
Yeah, phenomenal performance by both teams. Showed really well, but you could really tell from the first minute through the 80th minute, the Vikings, when they played the game, had the slight edge. They were very physical on both sides of the ball, strong carries, great strong defensive shoulders, not a lot of weak shoulders out there. They moved the ball really well. They hit the edge well. They defended in phases. They had a few lapses where discipline, hurt them a little bit, but they are well-deserved semifinal winners, and looking forward, I'm sure, to their performance against Iowa State on Sunday.
So, yeah, speaking about that game on Sunday, we've got the D1AA final coming up 12:30 on Sunday. It's going to be this squad here, Western Washington, as you mentioned, against Iowa State, who were also hugely physical in their win over Arizona State. Quick 10-second preview of that one. Jeremy, what do you think going into that one?
Very physical, both sides of the ball. Slight skill edge, I would say, to Western Washington. Kicking definitely in the Vikings' favor. So I'd make them slight favorites going into Sunday, but not guaranteed.
Yeah, definitely. We saw the huge physicality from Iowa State as we move to our sideline for the post-game interviews.
All right, we are here with Western Washington captain Harry Moore and director of rugby Paul Horn. What a great game. Harry, first of all, I can't imagine you felt comfortable even at 24-5 the way that MAU was coming at you. Tell me about that.
Oh yeah, I mean, playoff rugby. You know it's going to be a war every time. But yeah, that was an awesome game. It feels so good to win it. And yeah, it was a fight. And we earned it. So.
You have so many different weapons. I think it was a powerful forward effort today, but early on, a couple of big plays from your backs and show your speed and also your kicking game. So a variety of stuff.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we're at the end of the season here. We've worked on all that stuff, and it's paying off when it needs to. So yeah, really proud of the boys today.
Paul, you guys are just the other side of the border with Canada, so I'm going to use a Canadian term, chippy. This is a chippy game.
It was a chippy game, and there's a lot of spirit out there. And fortunately, we maintained our composure enough to put some more points on the board at the very end there, and felt pretty good.
Nice way to put it away, really. But what struck me through the season is you went out of your way to try and find some tough competition, going across the border, playing some teams in BC, things like that. How does that help? And that may be an answer from both of you, but how does that help you when it comes down to playoff time?
Oh, immensely. The preparation we've had was all staged, and we did a lot of planning on who we were going to play on our schedule outside of our conference, going up to Canada against Trinity Western and the likes of University of Victoria, going down to Cal Poly, and it was a great culmination of what we've been trying to do all year right here today.
And how are you able to draw on that today?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, felt great. And yeah, hard games make hard men, and that's what we have here. So.
All right, guys. Well, congratulations. Very well done. We'll see you in the final on Sunday. All right, nice job.
Thank you, Alex, for that fantastic sideline interview, and congratulations to Western Washington for their win today. And congratulations to our sponsors for being part of the Collegiate Rugby Association of America National Championships. Steel Dynamics is the title sponsor of the 2026 CRAA National Championship Series. Steel Dynamics, the new frontier of growth. Thank you as well to 8x8 Sports. Today's match is brought to you by 8x8 Sports, the presenting sponsor and official apparel partner of the College Rugby Association of America. 8x8 Sports, we move you forward. Looking to take your rugby team overseas? With Irish Rugby Tours, travel to Ireland, the UK, and Europe for international matches, pro-level training, and unforgettable memories. Start your journey now at irishrugbytours.com. Gainline, the official sports management partner of the College Rugby Association of America. Gainline, a testament to the power of leadership, innovation, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. USA Rugby is proud to partner with the College Rugby Association of America for the 2025-2026 academic year. With future USA Eagles taking the pitch today, we are pleased to support this experience for all student athletes. Learn more about the USA Eagles and how you can get involved with USA Rugby. Today's broadcast was granted by the College Rugby Association of America. Any use or rebroadcast requires the written consent of the CRAA. For my partner, Jeremy Ognall, and for our entire production team, I'm Phil Teal. Thanks for watching.